Nordic Ashes is a top-down bullet hell arena shooter which sees us flash down into different worlds, facing wave after wave of charmingly styled monsters while we challenge powerful characters from the Norse mythology.
Son of a bitch.
After spending more time in this game than in Vampire Survivors,
Heresy!
I can tell you if Nordic Ashes is a real fun or a refund, and yes, the verdict is hardly surprising. God, I need a new hobby. But it still has one glaring issue that nearly drags down the whole game. The basics at first sound simple enough. With 10 vastly different characters, each with their own gameplay, skills and skins, we explore a borderless arena filled with constantly spawning creatures. Picking up their dropped experience points allows us to level up and assign points to each character's skill tree, while relics, potions and weapons are found throughout the large yet not overwhelming battlefield. Surviving long enough and beating the individual world's bosses lets us spend gold coins in a shop before moving on to the next stage, with the last one being a dedicated level for the world's end boss. Beating them unlocks additional worlds, difficulty levels, new items and leaves we can use to unlock talents in the talent tree Yggdrasil. Simple and effective, yes, but to become far more than a simple Survivor's copy, Nordic Ashes digs up unique ways to keep the genre fresh and interesting. So let's rewind and take a deeper look into the game's systems. With each character having their own spells, passive skills, items and individual ways to take care of business, we have an array of replayability in general. However, Nordic Ashes puts a random filter on all aspects. The skill tree, for example, provides a uniqueness to every run. Each weapon and skill we can find in the tree can be leveled up, with 10 being the maximum level. However, each level up enhances one of the many possible effects the weapons can have. Which level up enhances which stat is completely random, changing up each run. This way, one time the spiraling fireballs of Halfgrim, a typical mage, have many fast rotating projectiles, while another run lets us blast through our enemies with larger but fewer balls of fire. The only constants in this upgrading system are the Ascensions, which unlock once we obtain a unique crystal. With this crystal we can drastically change and enhance one ability. We further can unlock passives and a powerful ultimate ability in the skill tree, which, contrary to the other weapons and skills, has to be activated manually. These ultimates differ even more than the usual skills between the heroes, with Halfgrim's ultimate, for example, seeing him perform a powerful AoE attack, while Hansi's ult lets him dodge incoming hits, avoiding any loss of health. The health pool is similar to a teenager, full of heart and incredibly fragile. Every simple touch of an enemy or its projectiles will result in a heart being damaged and can have various effects depending on the type of heart that was damaged. By picking up health potions, which come in different varieties, we can gain red hearts, blue hearts, ice hearts, green hearts, fire hearts, and, in one character's case, Neil Young comes to mind. Each heart has its own additional function, with the basic one being, well, to keep you from dying. To avoid death, we of course have the different skills of the characters to defend ourselves, but we further can pick up additional weapons and relics obtainable at shrines, as well as one-time use items we can activate to get all coins, experience points, or blast our enemies with a burst of fireballs. The mentioned shrines have specific conditions we need to fulfill to get the item, with some requiring us to kill a certain amount of enemies, stay alive in its radius for a specific amount of time, or, in the higher leveled worlds, slay an additional boss, to name a few. These weapons can be leveled up in the skill tree as well, giving us far more flexibility and also complexity to our hero's build. This build can be further adjusted in the overarching talent tree Yggdrasil. Here we trade seeds we pick up in the many worlds for leaves, which we can use to unlock talents and enhance our heroes overall, with more damage, a higher crit chance, more movement speed, or a higher chance to activate an ailment, like burning or poison, to name a few examples. However, simple stat upgrades are just one aspect of Yggdrasil, since we can further unlock healing shrines, the radius in which we pick up experience points, obtain an essential crystal sooner, and many more ways to change the worlds we visit. These worlds are one of the multipliers for the replayability, since they not only have unique enemies with their own way of movement and attacks, but further have additional effects, like a climate which sees freezing cold clouds float over Niflheim, keeping us frozen on the spot when not being careful, or the burning plains of Muspelheim, being a literal game of the floor is lava. These worlds, as diverse as they can be, can still be enhanced through the various difficulty levels, with one being specifically dedicated to the competitive players. Ragnarok, ramps up the complexity and danger each world presents, while a successful run sees us put our name on the leaderboard, competing against other players in a race for the fastest clear. With a custom mode, an extreme difficulty level called Nightmare, and a daily challenge where we have specific limitations to our run, Nordic Ashes forms a well-rounded assortment of choices, maxing out its replayability. With all these amazing systems being beefed up to the maximum, the art style and music need to be praised just as much, while one single humongous flaw plagues every single run. The upgrading effect sounds like the Twitter sound. Horrendous! Regardless of that destructive flaw, Nordic Ashes is still a real fun instead of a refund. Would you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to go outside once in a while.